Hi, my name is Kennedy Manley, and I am a student at the University of Pennsylvania studying mathematical economics in the class of 2022. The mental health of undergraduate students has become a growing concern. The American College Health Association Fall 2018 National College Health Assessment reported that 62.9% of college students in the United States experienced overwhelming anxiety during the 2017 to 2018 school year. These are now even more pronounced due to the COVID-19 pandemic and period of social isolation, the Black Lives Matter led protest against social injustice, and the events leading up to and following the 2020 US presidential election. Undergraduate students in challenging competitive fields such as computer science are a particular concern. Previous work has shown that computer science students are more likely to develop mental health issues than students in other disciplines. Our goal is to get a better understanding of what is causing computer science student stress and distress and determine how computer science instructors can support them. Research questions. Number 1, what are ways in which computer science instructors can address sources of student stress and distress? Number 2, what are potential hurdles or roadblocks that computer science instructors may face in trying to implement those solutions? We conducted a study in the computer science department at a large private R1 university in the Northeast of the United States. We surveyed 213 undergraduate computer science students in order to identify potential sources of stress and distress. We interviewed 15 computer science students to get more insight into their distress and ways to address it. We interviewed 8 computer science instructors regarding the challenges they may face in trying to address student sources of distress. Previous work has sought to identify the sources of stress faced by undergraduates, including changes in usual routine, academic pressure and workloads, and maintaining social relationships. 38% of undergraduate engineering students at a large technical institution exhibited a high risk of serious mental illness. Computer science students in Brazil demonstrated a prevalence of anxiety and depression symptoms at 51.9% and 64.9% respectively. Previous work does not address the causes of this stress for computer science students in particular, and what instructors can do to mitigate them. In order to first get a better understanding of the sources of computer science student stress and distress, we conducted a study among students at the target institution regarding their mental health and wellness. Students in the fall 2019 and spring 2020 offerings of the undergraduate software engineering course were invited to complete a survey that included the question, what are potential sources of your distress? 397 students were in this class in total, were in these offerings in total. Students were asked to consider 8 domains of wellness: physical, emotional, social, intellectual, environmental, financial, occupational, and spiritual. A total of 213 students completed the survey, giving a 53.7% response rate. Surveys were conducted in November 2019 and in February 2020, before the COVID-19 pandemic, the worldwide protests against systematic racial injustice, and the 2020 US presidential election. The study was only conducted at a single institution, and the specific results may not be applicable to students elsewhere. Due to the anonymity of the survey, we did not collect demographics such as race and gender identity. These are the results that show the percentage of students who identified each wellness domain as a source of distress, with intellectual being number 1. There seem to be 3 main sources of distress. Number 1, intellectual, defined as expanding knowledge and skills, with a 64.8% selection rate, due to reasons such as heavy workload and a competitive atmosphere. Number 2, emotional, defined as coping effectively with life and creating satisfying relationships, with a 46.5% selection rate. Some examples including sense of competition with other students and lack of free time to rest and recharge. And third, social, defined as developing connections, having a sense of belonging, and fostering a well-developed support system, with a 41.3% selection rate, and students gave examples such as missing out on socializing and imposter syndrome.
Hi, my name is Layla Arain, and I will be talking about further student insights that we received to address Research Question 1. To address Research Question 1, which was what are the ways that computer science instructors can address sources of student stress and distress. We interviewed 15 students who had expressed interest in this work. Students were interviewed via Zoom in June 2020 and were asked to reflect on specific stresses that came up in survey, to identify traits inherent to computer science, and to suggest ways in which instructors could support students' wellness. Collaboration was one topic that came up time and time again. The lack of opportunities to collaborate in their CS classes causes much of the students' distress. Students felt more supported in classes with group projects and/or collaboration partners, since they could discuss their ideas, thoughts, and processes. Students also felt less lonely when working with others, and they felt more comfortable seeking help when professors allow collaboration. To add to this, the lack of opportunities to collaborate in their CS classes contributes to long and stressful wait times at TA office hours. Imposter syndrome was another topic that was brought up. Feelings of imposter syndrome also impact students' wellness. Female interviewees discussed feelings of imposter syndrome due to being a female in a male-dominated field. One described being a female CS student as challenging for my wellness, but also empowering. Female interviewees also expressed a desire for a more diversified field to limit imposter syndrome. And finally, the nature of computer science as a course was also a topic that was brought up. Computer science as a field of study can cause students distress, regardless of how it is taught or students' sense of belongings. And this is caused by two factors: the uncertainty about not knowing how long it will take to complete an assignment, and also the frustration caused by debugging, and this could add to the long wait times at TA office hours.
Hi, my name is Chris Murphy. I'm a faculty member in computer science at Bryn Mawr College, and it's my pleasure to present the third part of our paper. Our second research question is, what are the potential hurdles or roadblocks that computer science instructors may face in trying to implement the solutions designed to reduce students' stress and distress? We interviewed 8 computer science faculty members from the target institution. 7 of these faculty members teach introductory sequence courses, and 1 teaches undergraduate software engineering. All 8 of the instructors recognized the benefits of collaboration. They mentioned that cognitive development occurs when students work together, and that discussing problems and asking questions allows students to develop the proper vocabulary that they'll need in later courses and throughout their computer science careers. Instructors also recognize that collaboration builds a sense of community in the classroom. And last, that students are able to better understand their errors and see many different routes to solving a given task when they have other students to discuss it with. However, the faculty raised concerns about collaboration, specifically making sure that each student has their own understanding of the material, and also raising issues related to academic honesty. One faculty member said, "I'm trying to rule out someone getting code from someone else and turning it in as their own as a result of collaboration." When it comes to ad hoc collaboration, faculty raised the concern that students with friends in the class may thrive more than others because they already know people who they work well with. And keeping in mind that the goal of this work is to address ways to reduce students' stress and distress, faculty pointed out that group work can produce additional stress because of different types of social interactions and may prevent students from enjoying the collaborative experience. As potential alternatives to reducing student stress, faculty mentioned reducing the emphasis on grades and focusing more on learning. They also raised the idea of flexible deadlines and permitting collaboration on ungraded activities, for example, in-class activities in the classroom, recitation activities, lab assignments, etc. Our hope is that this work inspires others to consider the sources of stress and distress among computer science students. We only conducted our study at one institution, and future work could consider other institutions or other types of institutions, for instance, smaller colleges, liberal arts colleges, etc. Also, future work could evaluate the sources of distress and their effects on different sociodemographic groups, particularly those that are already marginalized in the field. In summary, our work showed that computer science students at the target institution identified intellectual, emotional, and social wellness as their main sources of stress and distress. And through our interviews with students and faculty, we saw that collaboration in computer science courses could reduce the students' level of distress by allowing them to share ideas and address their misconceptions, and also build a community and increase students' sense of belonging. It's our recommendation then that computer science faculty should provide more opportunities for collaboration among their students, particularly in intro courses, as a way of addressing computer science students' sources of stress and distress.